Hello, my friends. So I recently read this book, Children of Ruin, by Adrian Tchaikovsky. It's the sequel to the book Children of Time, which won the Arthur C. Clarke Award. And I actually committed the cardinal sin. I did not start with the first book. I just went straight to the sequel, which is just because that's what they had at the library. So, but it actually went pretty well. There were some things that I kind of had to catch up on a little bit that I didn't really understand at first. But for the most part, it wasn't really a big problem reading the second one when I hadn't read the first one, because the story is pretty separate. It's definitely an independent story. So, well, to give you a summary of this book, it's about terraforming and meeting alien life forms, alien organisms, and it's hard science fiction. So it tries to be very believable, very much realistic and to what would actually happen. In the book, a mission of terraformers goes out, and they find in this one system there are two planets within the habitable region. One of them, they're surprised to discover, is already full of alien life that did not originate from Earth. And this is, in the story, this is the first time this has ever happened. And the other planet, even though it's in the habitable zone, it's covered in ice. But what they decide to do is, even though the one with life is a better candidate for colonization, they don't want to destroy all the life there, so they decide to terraform the other one and just study the life that's there. But as often happens in situations like this, they encounter an alien parasite that ends up killing most of the terraforming crew, and so they end up not colonizing the planet that they terraform, the ice planet, but instead they turn into an ocean planet, and they end up colonizing it with intelligent octopus, which they have elevated, which they have changed genetically to become intelligent creatures. And then millennia pass, and then another mission from another solar system that has been colonized by humans comes, and they have with them another race of intelligent spiders that also trace their origins to Earth, that have also been genetically engineered, and that comes from the first book. They encounter these octopus and octopodes, octopi, whatever, and they have to find a way to interact with them and communicate with them. And meanwhile, they're trying to go and look at this planet that's covered in alien life, and the octopuses don't want them to do that because of the danger, but they're having trouble communicating, and this leads to some people dying and other things. But it's a really thoughtful and very pensive and philosophical book without being pretentious. I think that's what I like about it. Like it's very thoughtful, but it's not difficult to follow. In the narrative, it bounces between two narratives, really: the past with the initial terraformers, and the present with this new mission coming from another solar system. I don't know what I did there, but the book it considers the basic problems that would occur when alien species encounter each other. So often in science fiction, we talk about you see a lot of philosophical issues that occur, philosophical conflicts that occur between us and alien species, but they tend to skip over the more basic aspects of just communication, and how they wouldn't just have different languages, different methods of communication, but their entire concept of communication would be different. When they encounter the octopus, their speech, their language is mostly visual. They use their skin, and the fact that they can change the color of their skin they use that to communicate, and they also touch each other as part of their communication. And you see how it would just be very, very difficult to encounter. And the octopus even originated from Earth, right? They're not even a truly alien species. So you can see how difficult it would be for us to encounter an alien race and communicate with them and have them understand us, and for us to be able to understand them. It also talks about a lot about cognition and how that doesn't even necessarily work the same way across species. Like you see with the octopus, they aren't even really individuals in the way that we think, because their nervous systems are decentralized. And so it's like each of them is almost like a colony instead of an individual, where they have different parts of their nervous system doing different things and not always communicating with each other. It's kind of like how, humans, we do have different aspects of our consciousness that don't always connect in the best way, but with the octopuses, it's even more so, right? And that's a really interesting part of the story. One thing that I wish that the story had gone into more, though, was they talk about intelligence and the value of intelligence, and it seems like most of the characters in the story value intelligence and kind of see it as being central to the purpose of life, but you don't really see their philosophical basis for that belief. And myself, I always wonder how a materialist, which most of the characters seem to be, would explain that and explain exactly why intelligence is so important. Because at the same time in the story, when it talks about consciousness, you see how it not only does it deal with different alien species, but it deals with artificial intelligence, which is in many ways treated like a living being. And it seems that the characters and also the author do not see consciousness as anything that extends beyond what we currently recognize as physical reality. Like the consciousness of an artificial intelligence can just be seen in the computer systems that it inhabits. The consciousness of a human lies only in the synaptic activity of our brains. And it just makes me wonder, if that is the case, then why does consciousness mean something, and why does intelligence mean something? And these are philosophical questions that I think the story kind of it makes me think of, but doesn't really address. So that's one thing that kind of left me wanting a little bit more there. But it's a great story, and I love how, I don't want to spoil the ending, but I love how it recognizes the complexity not only of what life can be, but also of the relationships that we can have with other types of intelligent life, and also the complexity of moral situations when you encounter an alien species that seems to be aggressive. It may not necessarily be that one needs to destroy the other. And you can see how that works out in the story, how there is a way a lot of the time to communicate and work something out and show that, hey, it doesn't need to be you or me, right? And that's I think really where the story shines, is it shows how even when we have these very big differences between cultures, between species, we can still manage to communicate and work something out and coexist. And it does that it makes that point in a very believable way, and I like it very much. So anyway, yeah, Children of Ruin. I do recommend it if you like hard science fiction. It's a very, very good book. I'm probably going to go read the first one now, Children of Time. And remember, Wild River, my fantasy novel, is coming out March 10th. So stay tuned for that. It's coming out March 10th, and it's going to the ebook is actually going to be going for only $1 for the first week. So stay tuned on that. Make sure to take advantage of that, and I'll talk to you folks later. Bye.